Hare Krishna. Welcome all of you for the summary session of Soulful Japa. We had covered up to cue card number 8, and today I'd like to make some clarifications with respect to cue card 3 and 8, where both are called Kripa Peksha. Some question was raised, valid questions. What is this Kripa and what is that Kripa that you are anticipating? So Kripa Apeksha means begging and anticipating. So in the case of cue card number 3, it was begging and anticipating for Divya Chesta Shakti, that divine energy to do japa, energy to do what is this very specifically, divine Chesta Shakti for concurrent chanting come hearing. So that prayer, that is the starting of soulful japa. What is that? That becomes the mindful japa. Mindful japa means you are able to invoke the divine energy from the Nama Prabhu. When you put effort, tiny effort from your side, Kriya Chesta and Jnana Chesta, to concurrently chant and hear exactly the same sound. When you do that, Nama Prabhu infuses Divya Chesta Shakti. This is a big secret. Okay, please don't forget. The entire Soulful Japa is a big secret which makes us successfully hold the attention, maintain the attention connection by chanting, and attention embrace by hearing. This is the entire secret. And by this attention touch and attention embrace, you are able to attention touch and attention embrace of what? Shakti Avesha Nama, the potentially omnipotent Nama, who is like an electrified copper wire. It's not an ordinary sound. It's a Satchidanandayist sound. Sat energy, Chit energy, Ananda energy. It can transmit. Aprakrita Nama, the transcendental name, who is an ocean of Satchidananda, is a brilliant sun of Satchit Ananda, enters the sound that I make with my tongue, and that sound on my tongue is potentially omnipotent, because by attention touch and attention embrace of the Shakti Avesha Nama, very mercifully the Sat, Chit and Ananda energies flow into our heart and ensue this, and this result is purification. So Sat means existence, Chit means knowledge, Ananda means bliss, bliss energy, blissful energy. Chit energy means knowledge energy. Sat energy means existential energy. Existential energy is called power, existence. The power to move existence is called Sat also. So when I do my concurrent chanting and hearing by giving my Kriya Chesta and Jnana Chesta, that alone is not enough for me to hold on there, because the mind is very disturbed. Mind is not easy in Kali Yuga to control the mind. Therefore, the third round is about Mahaprabhu, please, I beg for the mercy of the Divya Chesta Shakti to concurrently chant and hear uninterruptedly. So third mala is specifically about begging and anticipating Divya Chesta Shakti, while you offer your Chesta Shakti, Kriya Chesta, Jnana Chesta, to concurrently chant and hear that very same sound. Remember the principle, God helps those who help themselves. How do you help yourself in order to invoke the Divya Chesta Shakti? You have to be always ready for that anchoring tapasya. That means the first few beats, you should be able to run on battery power. What is that battery power? Your own desire and determination. Strong desire, determination means sankalpa and vikalpa put together. You will hold the kriya chesta and jnana chesta on the shabda with determination. And when the Lord sees your sincerity to want to associate with Him with full attention, He releases the Divya Chesta Shakti, and you will see that just like after initial self starter, the engine starts running. Similarly, the engine of mindful japa starts running by the strength, by the Shakti from the Nama himself. So this he should understand. And that is begging and giving, putting our effort, and while begging for the mercy of the Lord. That is the third cue card. The eighth cue card is also Kripa Apeksha. But the eighth cue card is about Kripa Apeksha of Chit energy and Ananda energy. So this power to do something, the doing, knowing power, divine power, to do divine names, to chant divine names, you need divine power. To do that, you get that Shakti from Mahaprabhu, begging for mercy. I fully depend on a costless mercy to offer offenseless seva to Nama Prabhu. Show the other blue. That blue slide. Okay. So, no, not this. Remove that. I don't know this. Okay, this is good enough. So, I depend upon. So, anyway, the point is you have understood that this Kripa Apeksha in the third round is for Divya Chesta Shakti, which is, I explained to you, is Sat reciprocation of the Lord. Sat, Chit, Ananda. Sat is Chesta Shakti. Chit is transcendental knowledge. Ananda is loving reciprocation. So all this, so the eighth round is about Apeksha for begging and anticipating flow of transcendental knowledge and development of Ananda means development of attachment, begging for attachment. When will I get attachment for your Nama? Okay, so that is 8. So now let me summarize 1 to 8 for you. And I also want, based on certain feedbacks from different devotees, I have done some swapping of cue cards. The first cue card now is Shraddha Mala. Mala 1, background is to trigger effortless background truth feeling. Truthfully is faith. That Nama Prabhu, a brilliant son of Satchidananda, is before me just to give me association. I want to respectfully hear him. So this, it made sense, because it made sense to make it first Mala, because everything starts with Shraddha, because nothing you see, everything is based on the faith that God is before you, Nama is before you. Otherwise it's ordinary. For a year, ordinary years, it's ordinary sound. So by Shraddha, you presence him. Okay? So first Mala is Shraddha, presencing. The second Mala is Sevya and Sevak Mala, which establishes the rapport with Nama Prabhu. Rapport with Nama Prabhu. Rapport with Nama Prabhu means relationship with Nama Prabhu. These things are already, I don't want to repeat it, they are already described in the where you load the feeling of being the servant of Nama Prabhu. So in other words, it is establishing a rapport with Nama Prabhu. First, by Shraddha, you establish rapport by knowing his mind. You remember that, knowing his mind. In module 91, now I have given what Nama Prabhu, what are his intentions for you and what is his expectation from you. Once you know that, you present the person, once you know the person's mind. So that is the second round. The third round was seeking the begging for divine energy from the Lord. Yes, begging for divine energy. Divya Chesta Shakti. Oh Mahaprabhu, I cry out for your mercy. Flow of Divya Chesta Shakti for concurrent chanting come hearing. Okay. So then we had Preeti. Oh Mahaprabhu. No, that is Preeti Mala. Is I feel pleasure givings by me and feel pleasure receiving by Nama Prabhu, by offering Atma Chesta to Nama Prabhu, by concurrent chanting come hearing bead after bead. You add Preeti to that, mindful Japa. Step by step now this mindful Japa is becoming heartful Japa, delightful or heartful Japa. Simply by concurrent chanting and hearing, it is already mindful Japa. Shraddha plus that is already mindful Japa. Now you start adding Preeti. That means the very same offering, concurrent chanting and that Kriya Chesta, Jnana Chesta which you are offering, you offer with an intention to please Nama Prabhu. You are sensitive to that. It is pleasing to the Lord. And in that way, each is a pleasure giving. Each act is a pleasure giving. And then after that is the Hristam, welcoming delight. You welcome the Lord with utmost respect and love as an infinitely compassionate person. This also we discussed. The key idea in this is the most important, infinitely important, loving VIP is coming, and how would you deal with him? You will delightfully welcome him with respect and love. Next was delightful hearing. Next. Then tasking delight, we have discussed a lot about it. Kriya Karya Siddhi Rasa, sense of accumulating, transcendental asset, transcendental wealth, accumulating one after the other. It is to eternal credit. Every chanting is an eternal credit. Sankhya Purva Kamala. And then we have now, which some people who have got confused, what is this Kripa Peksha? So I clarified it now. Divya Chit and Ananda Kripa Peksha. This is the 8th round. Begging for knowledge and attachment. There it was begging for Shakti in 3, slide 3. Here it is begging for knowledge and attachment. Nama Prabhu, I cry out to you that my heart is dry of Bhakti Rasa. Please release your Satchit Ananda Bhakti energy into my heart. So read more these modules which I have already posted. Module number is put on the top. Put the text. So first is imagine, you without any of these things, simply taking the bead bag and chanting Hare Krishna 16 rounds. And, chanting with all these things, there is a taste in everything. In Shraddha also there is a taste that, he is before me. So there is a faith, Shraddha Ruchi is there. Divya Chesta Shakti gives you Divya Chesta Ruchi, Sat Ruchi it gives you. Presencing, knowing the mind of the Lord gives you, that link. Rapport gives you also a pleasure, Ruchi. Preeti taste, pleasure giving. You start relishing giving pleasure. And you chant with delight. And hearing also with delight or joy. That also invokes Lord's delight energy, and you become so enthusiastic. Delight in accomplishment or utsaha, kriya karya, siddhi rasa, ruchi. Now, unless all these ruchis are there, when the ruchis are there, attention gets locked up. And then kripa apeksha, ruchi, kripa apeksha for sat, chitta, ananda shaktis. So these are all from the background, okay? These are all background feelings. And as you build up bead over bead, you remember earlier in the beginning, I had told you how Soulful Japa is like an orchestra. Multiple instruments are played in an orchestra, and finally the music is blended into the final nice sounding music. There will be violin, there will be harmonium, there will be this, that, so many, all instruments will be being played. They all mixed together. In the same way, just for a moment, it's not easy, but if your focus is there on the Nama, then Shraddha, Sevak Bhavan, these are all feelings. Shraddha, God is before me. Sevak Bhavan, I am His servant. Divya Chesta, Lord is giving me Shakti. And Preeti, Krishna Mahalada, Utsaha, tasking, Chitta and Ananda Kripa Apeksha. All this they build up actually. It's not that they are separate feelings. That is why I call this as practice rounds. Once you practice for 1 year with all the different things, then naturally these things will mix on their own, and you will experience the integrated feeling and the appropriate relationship with the Nama Prabhu when you offer those feelings. Okay. So now, some negative spirit of doing japa, I just want to cover this also. Of course, we are talking about soulful japa, but still in the midst of that, this doesn't stand before the light of blissful, soulful japa. But still, for your information, you should know what are the negative spirits of doing japa. One is burdensome japa. Just like one can do any work thinking it's a big burden to be executed somehow. Japa has to be done. 16 rounds have to be done. So, main reason this happens, now we are doing some analysis, because I told you this is Japa doctor course. Diagnosis. Japa should not be done as this happens when you don't take drops of tasking delight after each bead and a bigger tasking delight after each mala. Even a neophyte can free himself from burdensome japa, simply by learning this tasking delight or tasking pleasure. We discussed earlier, tasking pleasure at one level of quality, even a neophyte can offer. Tasking delight is offered from a transcendental platform by like pure devotees like Haridas Thakur. But tasking delight in japa is very essential from neophyte to everybody. So japa means tasking, not simply, okay, now I have to chant, now I have to chant. Chanting and hearing. Don't think like that. Moment you say japa, it means chanting and hearing and tasking, chanting and hearing and tasking. Okay. Mechanical japa. One can do any work as a routine and that needs to be done, mechanical japa. Japa should not be done and tasked just like another routine work like brushing your teeth or bathing. You see, those are all auto doing. You get up in morning, you go for brushing the teeth, you just automatically you do. You don't need to give your chesta, your atma chesta you don't have to give. Your sharira chesta automatically is trained. Your sukshma sharira chesta automatically it goes there because it is trained, it's triggered and it is trained. But atma chesta is not required to brush your teeth. So japa should not be done without atma chesta. That means the soul should like doing it and knowing that doing. Doing the sound and knowing the sound. Next. This is over. Fruit. Okay. Fruitive japa. One can do work with the attitude to create a fruit that one can materially enjoy at the end of that work. Do some work to avoid a bitter fruit. Japa should not be done to gain something material or to avoid something materially undesirable. See, our tendency, what is fruitive tendency? Work towards getting something or work towards avoiding something that you don't want. Why do you go to a hospital? You don't want to disease. Why do you go to a movie? I want to see something nice. So, for something positive, you work, and for avoiding something negative, you also work. The whole world is only working. Anytime anybody walking on the street, you can clamp him and tell him, what are you doing now? Where are you? He says, say, I'm going to hospital. Okay, you're trying to avoid undesirable. You catch somebody and say, okay, what are you doing? Where are you? What are you up to? You say, like, going to the movie hall. Okay. You're going for a desirable. That is all. Mind is constantly into these two things. Now, japa should not be done for any of these things. Means to avoid something. No, japa is a relationship. I want to please Nama Prabhu. Nothing for me to avoid or to get. I please him. He decides. I surrender to him. He decides. Nama Prabhu decides. I am chanting the names of the Supreme Lord. My business is to please him. What is desirable, not desirable, to get, not to get, is all in his hands. He is the Supreme Lord himself. When I serve him, why should I worry? I should please him. So this kind of fruitive japa also is not good. Let me chant extra rounds because I am having examination now. Don't connect all these things. Your seva to the Lord is unconditional. It is not situational. Enjoying japa. Now this is another. Our basic disease in the material world is, I am the center of enjoyer. But we are entitled for enjoyment. but not for enjoying. What is the difference? You are entitled for enjoyment means you are enjoyed by Krishna. You enjoyed by Krishna. Then you enjoyed by Krishna, you enjoy. You enjoy being enjoyed. This is the constitutional position of Jiva. Becoming the enjoyer is Krishna's position. He is the only Purusha. Everything and everybody is enjoyed. The material world falsely he thinks he is enjoying. But that is only falsely. In reality, the entire material world, laws of karma runs according to his order. He is the enjoyer. He is the Lord. So one should not perform japa imagining, again in Nama japa itself, imagining that he has got Nama Ruchi. No. Nama Ruchi will come when you can enjoy Rama Ruchi. No doubt. It has got taste means it's meant for enjoying. Krishna is beautiful means his beauty is meant for enjoying. But that enjoyment is given to us. We don't grab that enjoyment. Okay, japa should not be done with the attitude of extracting sense pleasure out of chanting and hearing for material senses. You see the fine difference? This extracting thing is a material attitude. Begging is the attitude. Kripa apeksha. Okay? If you want to give, you give. Your final will is yours. You are the Lord. Namaruchi for one spiritualized tongue is gifted to the chanter when the Lord grants. Pleasure for senses in bhakti is gifted by Krishna and not extracted by lording over. Total different attitude of enjoyment. Enjoyment is the basis of existence. Even for us also, Anandamayobhyasa. For Lord also, enjoyment is the very purpose of existence. Jiva also, the very purpose of existence is enjoyment. But how does the Jiva get enjoyment and how does the Lord gets enjoyment? That reversal, if it happens, you are in the material world. Because that kind of enjoyment, taking the role of Krishna as the enjoyer, you cannot be in the spiritual world. So pleasure for senses is gifted by Krishna and not extracted. Hoping for that gift of experience of intrinsic sweetness of Nama from Nama Prabhu is different from we trying to extract sweetness by our will. Taking delight at heart to do japa is not the same as trying to extract some sense pleasure from Nama. Now, somebody may say, no, we are trying to take delight in chanting. No, I am not trying to extract. I am taking delight from my heart. From my heart, I am taking delight. You see the difference? I am not trying to extract delight from the Nama. I am delighted to chant his name. I am delighted to hear his name. Now, Nama Prabhu very mercifully, he infuses 10 times the delight that I take, and I finally experience super delight. This is reciprocation of the Lord. This also we have elaborately discussed. Next. Forced japa. One may be circumstantially forced to work to ward off some unfavorable situation. You see, forced japa means what? Just like children chanting japa every day to avoid being reprimanded by the parents. This is a type of japa. Oh, if I don't do my... Hey, you will not get prasadam till you finish your 16 rounds. This is forced japa. Especially children should not be associated with this kind of a negative rasa with japa. Very careful we should be with children. Never associate negative rasa with japa. Then they will not like japa when they grow up. Okay. intermittent japa, offering japa seva only when there is trouble in life and one needs God's help. Few days you will chant, after that you don't chant. So you forget Nama Prabhu otherwise. So therefore we should chant only for the sake of pleasing the Nama Prabhu. It's a relationship. All these external circumstances, you should not connect it. So the spirit of delightful doing, delightful hearing, delightful tasking with enthusiasm and preeti is completely different from all the above undesirable doing spirits. Japa is primarily doing, supported by knowing. In terms of activity, attention-wise, it's a leading attention is doing and knowing to recognize the sound. So basically now we have covered 1 to 8 cue cards, and today we have seen a connection between flowing from card 1, cue card 1 to cue card 8, where the devotee, as he progresses, he becomes expert in this. His heart gets filled with reciprocal delight energy from the Nama Prabhu. Shakti, Divya Cheshta Shakti from Nama Prabhu, delight energy from Nama Prabhu, experience of Preeti from Nama Prabhu, experience of Chit, the transcendental knowledge, spiritual realizations, Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. Every day we sing before the Guru, in Guru Puja. That Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavat Prasadat, when the Lord is pleased with when the Guru is pleased with us, then the Lord also, Nama Prabhu, removes our ignorance and we start realizing our true nature, blissful nature, by awakening our chitta. We have got pure knowledge, who I am, who God is, everything. Now I am thinking I am the body, I am material existence, all these things. I am fallen into ignorance. So this Nama Japa releases this transcendental knowledge, resulting in what? When you get transcendental knowledge, you get detachment from material energy. When you get detached from material energy, the consequence next is you get attached to transcendental Nama. So that 6th, 8th round is begging for that attachment. Once you get that attachment, your japa is, we should get somehow, we should desire that I get attached to this chanting and hearing it. I get attached to these 3 words, Hare, Krishna and Rama. So with this we'll stop for the day. Thank you very much. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna Nama Prabhu ki Jai.